Hello everybody, this is Mr. Roundy coming at you with another math lesson. Today's lesson, dividing fractions using models. The objectives for today's video are, after this video, you should be able to divide fractions using a model. When I say model, I mean a picture. We're going to actually draw pictures to help us divide fractions. The process is actually a fairly simple one, and the type of problems we're going to be working with are pretty simple as well. So, a little review. There are three parts to a division problem. The first part is what we call the dividend. That is the amount that is being divided up. The second part is the fraction that is acting as the divisor. The divisor is the size of the pieces we're dividing the dividend into. And the third part is what we call the quotient, or the answer to our division problem. So the first step in making a model to divide fractions is to draw a picture that represents the dividend. In our example here, 4/5 divided by 1/5, 4/5 represents the dividend. The dividend is usually going to be listed first in the problem when it's laid out in the format you see here, 4/5 divided by 1/5. The first fraction is your dividend. So I'm going to draw a picture that represents 4/5. And you can see that below here. I drew a rectangle, divided into 5 pieces, and shaded in 4. That shows me I've got 4/5. Step 2 is to circle sets that are the size of the divisor. So as you can see here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces that are exactly 1/5 of my rectangle. This yellow piece is 1/5, this yellow piece is 1/5, and so on. Each piece is 1/5. So I can get 1, 2, 3, 4 1/5 pieces from this rectangle right here. All I got to do now for step 3, count how many sets of the divisor fit into the dividend to find the quotient. So I had 4/5, and I can get 4 1/5 pieces from my 4/5. So my answer, or the quotient, is 4. Now, this might be a little confusing, so let's do a little practice to help us get a little better grasp on how exactly we're going to do this. The first problem we're going to do is 7/8 divided by 1/8. So to start out, I identify my dividend. My dividend is 7/8, the first fraction that I've listed. And I'm going to draw a picture to represent 7/8. Now you could do circles, but I recommend rectangles. I think they tend to work out a little bit better. So I draw a rectangle and I divide it into 8 pieces. There's 2, 4, 8. I have 8 pieces and I'm going to shade in 7 of them. So I shade in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 pieces. Now I have a rectangle that represents the 7/8 dividend for my problem. Next, I take my divisor, which is 1/8, and I'm going to see how many 1/8 pieces fit into my 7/8. And I only look at the shaded pieces that I have for my 7/8. So this one right here is a 1/8 piece. This is a 1/8 piece. This is 1/8. This is 1/8. This one is. Each one of these shaded pieces is 1/8 of my rectangle. Now, the third and final step is just to count how many 1/8 pieces fit into it. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total. And the quotient for my problem is 7. Let's look at one that's just a little bit tougher. Here we have 1/2 divided by 10. Now, the problem we have here is my dividend does not have the same denominator as my divisor. So to be able to do this problem, I need to have matching denominators. So I'm going to create an equivalent fraction for 1/2 that has a denominator of 10. It's kind of like simplifying a fraction, but we're working in reverse. We're actually making it bigger. So I think about it, and I say, 2, what do I have to do to 2 to get a denominator of 10? Well, I had to multiply it by 5. if I do that and I multiply the top by the same number, I'm going to keep my fraction equivalent or equal. So 1 times 5 gets me 5. So I need to draw a rectangle that is 5/10. So I'm going to go ahead and break up my rectangle into 10 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now I'm going to have to shade in 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them have been shaded in. Now I'm going to see how many 1/10 pieces I can get out of my shaded area. So this one is 1/10 of my rectangle. This one is 1/10. This one is 1/10. This one is. And this one is. Now I just got to count up how many 1/10s fit into the shaded area of my rectangle. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 total, and my quotient is 5. Let's go back and take a look at our objective for today's lesson. The objective for today's lesson was to be able to, after watching this video, divide fractions using a model. If you have any trouble, please use this video as a reference as you work through future problems. Or just watch the video a couple of times until you get the hang of all the steps. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.